Mr. Weiner was the one who told me to start a school journal when he rescued me from the girls' room. Eventually, it became the guide.
Wait, I thought I rescued you. How many times did you get stuck in the girls' room?
Once. Twice. Just twice. I'm gonna find a way to help Mr. Weiner like he helped me. Just twice.
If you'd like to commission a Knickknack sample platter, instructions in the description below. So I'm on the record in saying I'm not the biggest fan of Marc Weiner's whole shtick. I got nothing against Weiner himself, he seems like a pretty nice guy, he's a good voice actor, but I just don't vibe with the whole ugly screaming puppet thing. At least I didn't as a kid. But that's just me and my tastes. I've talked to plenty of people who really enjoyed Weinerville back in the mid-90s. And I've also talked to plenty of people who also didn't like Weinerville all that much. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure what the general consensus of Weinerville was. What is lacking is reassessment. If you put Marc Weiner's puppets in front of those who enjoyed him as a kid but are now much older, how would they feel about it? And how would kids today feel if there was a Marc Weiner revival? If only there was an actual, real episode of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide that was about exactly that.
But today we've got Mr. Weiner, who we've had since kindergarten and is our favorite sub of all time.
Let's learn about Moby Dick, who spent a lot of time in water!
Substitute Teachers and the New Kid is the 9th episode of Ned Declassified's 2nd season, the 20th episode overall. Written by show creator Scott Fellows along with Mike Priester, and directed by Joe Menendez, the episode originally aired on January 21st, 2006. As with most episodes of this show, there are 6 stories. 3 for the substitute teacher half, and 3 for the new kid half. So let's blow through the other ones really quick before we get to the Marc Weiner stuff. In Substitute Teacher, Mose uses her reputation as a good student to manipulate various substitute teachers into letting the class get treats and time off.
She's not lying. Tuesday is study snack day. Okay, let's go outside.
This finally gets her an in with the bad girl crowd, but at what cost? Sure, you may develop lasting friendships, but you're losing out on all that information on moose migrations, and then you'll never get that high-paying job as a moose migration knower. Meanwhile, Cookie is coerced by Vice Principal Krubbs into taking attendance for a class, but Cookie then starts to pretend to be a full substitute teacher. And oh, the power! The power!
I love subbing, so I hacked my name into the school substitute list, and today I'm subbing 6th grade.
I think you need a teaching license to be a substitute teacher.
Come on, you don't need a license to sub. You just need a pulse.
In the new kid half of the episode, Ned helps out the new girl, Bernice, showing her where her classes are. And this rough and tough girl declares Ned is now her boyfriend.
Who's she? I'm Jennifer. Back off. He's mine. No, we're just friends. Back off. Backing.
Cookie starts an advanced English class and decides to pretend to be English to seem like a cool foreign exchange student. The only problem is that there's another student that's actually English. Or is he?
Yes, my old soccer mates were the best.
Don't they call it football in England?
Yes, football was fun, traipsing up and down the field.
It's called a pitch.
Oh, yes, right, quite, whatnot, and...
You're not English either.
Come on, don't tell. I'm from Ohio.
And finally, there's a new janitor's assistant helping Gordy keep the place clean, and he's clearly gunning for Gordy's job. Mose interferes, misunderstandings are had, and Gordy and the new guy end up in a contest to see who's the best. This is all really fun, B+, good episode. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. One of Ned's favorite substitutes from elementary school, Mr. Weiner, is now subbing at Ned's middle school, and Ned is excited. But it seems that Mr. Weiner's puppet-based lesson plan isn't going over well with the teen students.
Everyone read chapters 1 through... Moby Dick? Hey, Ned. Tough crowd. You guys used to love tiny subs.
It's still early. They're probably just cranky.
Or is it because I stink? And I really wanted a sub in middle school. Better hours, better pay. Guess I'll never make it in the big time.
Mr. Weiner thinks he's just not with it anymore, but Ned is determined to make him popular with his fellow classmates. So they go through several iterations of Weiner's act, including him performing a rock song about licking dick? Is that right? It says licking dick in my script. It isn't until Weiner starts introducing rude jokes and violence into his lessons that the kids are satiated.
No, it's Moby Dick! And maybe Loomer! If you put your head in a book instead of your butt, you'd learn something!
Hey, that's funny.
Not as funny as what I did to Ahab's leg in my book. Watch!
So, as a straightforward story, this is okay. It fits in well with the tapestry of the 5 other stories, builds on some of Ned's backstory as we learn what his relationship with Mr. Weiner actually was, and a guy in his 50s got to sing about licking dick in front of children. It's the metatextual stuff here that's really interesting though. Marc Weiner is essentially playing himself. They're using his real name, and he's performing his classic 90s act with his usual puppets. Like, that's just Boney in a clown costume. When this episode first aired, Marc Weiner as an on-screen performer had been gone from Nickelodeon for almost 10 years. Weinerville reruns ceased in 1997. He had been a panelist for 11 episodes of Figure It Out's first season, and after that, he pivoted pretty strictly to voice acting. Kids in 2006 certainly heard him as Swiper the Fox and the Map on Dora the Explorer, but they probably wouldn't know him by name, and certainly not by sight, not unless they were slightly older than the show's target demographic. Ned is the show's protagonist, supposedly wise above his years, since he's writing the titular school survival guide, and he has a fond nostalgia for his old substitute teacher and all of his puppets. While technically the same age as his fellow students, Ned is being framed here as the older sibling trying to introduce Marc Weiner to this new generation. Ned is representing a 90s Nickelodeon audience trying to make a 2000s Nickelodeon audience love the same things he loved. What follows is Ned and Marc Weiner workshopping the act to try and connect with a new audience, eventually settling on rude jokes and bloody violence. Perhaps that's a kids these days jab from the writers, I'm not sure. What's fun about this is that Nickelodeon still struggles with this idea. We've time and time again seen the channel trying to tap into 90s Nickelodeon nostalgia, bringing back their old properties with their old stars, and trying to modernize it because kids these days have no idea who Mark Summers or Lori Beth Denberg are. But you can't not have Mark Summers or Lori Beth Denberg in the shows, because then the grown-ups watching, the Neds in the audience, will be sad. My God, Ned's Declassified predicted the future. In fact, hang on. I'm getting a report across my desk. Yes, it seems that Scott Fellows, the creator of Ned's Declassified, was also a writer on Weinerville. One of his first writing credits, in fact. He was also an occasional puppeteer for it, so this was probably just a showrunner paying tribute to the guy who got him his first job on Nickelodeon and has no additional metatextual meaning. I may be digging a little too much into it. Still, it's an interesting return for Weiner, and it's fun to think about. How it stacks up to Weiner's work on Weinerville and Weiner's career as a whole, well, that's a much larger Weiner discussion. This was just a sample.